Hey guys, this is Jeff with Hubb's Trophy Whitetails LLC. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about shed hunting, when to start shed hunting, and where to shed hunt. Just give you a little 101 lesson on shed hunting. Well, I'm in Kansas today. It's early. It's January the 10th, 2023. And as a rule, I usually don't start shed hunting really hard until somewhere around President's Day. So February the 19th, 20th, 21st. That's when you can really start getting into the bedding areas and a little bit of everything. Right now though, it's early, but this last year we had a good drought, or a bad drought. By having a drought, that stresses your deer. And then we turned around in December, we had 2 weeks of extreme cold, which again, that stresses your deer. And stress is a huge factor in your deers losing their antlers. So what I do is I put my cameras up, leave them up all the way through December, January, February, and I let the cameras dictate to me when it's time to shed hunt. And if I'm getting bucks with their antlers still on, as a rule, that's when I start waiting for February the 20th. December the 11th, I had one buck already missing his right side. And then December the 16th, I had another buck missing his right side. So I've already got 2 bucks missing their, one side on them. And that's been over, that's right at 25, 30 days ago. So I feel pretty confident that we can come in here, at least get on my four-wheeler. We'll zigzag these big open fields out here. And after we zigzag these fields, we're going to work our way into these trails. We won't go very deep because we don't want to enter their bedding area because we're still a little early for their bedding area. So we'll enter these trails, we'll hit the open fields. I've actually got a corn feeder in here to keep the deer kind of with some feed, and then I've got a camera on it to kind of dictate again when they start losing their antlers. And we'll look around the corn feeder. We're going to freshen up all our salt mineral licks because here we are in January, and after all the stress they've gone through the rut, the drought, and the cold weather, they're going to be hitting all these salt licks. So we're going to refresh all our salt mineral licks too while we're here. As we go through, me and my grandson Nathan are here. If we find any sheds, we're going to try to document that with the video camera. So just bear with us and come along with us on a shed hunt. The things you need to concentrate on is bedding area, trails, and feeding area. A lot of your big open fields, especially like this year after a drought, are going to be a good area for a deer to go in and browse on clover and anything else that's green in there. And then cut bean fields, cut corn fields, any kind of a good food source. Right here we've got a big open field, and over the years I have found a lot of sheds on this big open field. Over here to the north you can see this big hillside. You got sporadic cedars, hedge, thorny locust, and grass that's about knee to waist high. The deer really love bedding in that area because one, it faces the southwest, so they're going to get the sun beating down on them. You got those dark colored cedars that kind of draw in some heat, radiate a little bit of heat for them to be comfortable. And then you've got a hillside with a slope, so you've got good drainage on that hillside and slope. We have found a lot of sheds out in this open field. We have found a lot of sheds up on the hillside. One thing I haven't talked about, and that's during your shed hunting season, I like to always carry a little .22 pistol with me, mainly because anytime I find an armadillo, I kill an armadillo. There's no sense in having them in our area. Missouri and most of Kansas, we've really only had armadillo issues in the last probably 15 years. And they just keep coming in from Oklahoma and Texas. Another thing you might want to be looking for when you're out like this, one thing you find a lot of times, and that's you'll find a deer that either was wounded or just was failing in one way or another, broke a leg, got hit by a car, whatever. But the coyotes have a tendency to get those deer that are weak now and that are run down from the rut. And they're going to go in there and they're going to catch them and they're going to kill them and eat them. So my grandson and I just got here to this particular spot, and Nathan pointed out a deer leg. And we'll look at this deer leg, and you can tell by this hoof size and the size of the bones here, that plate, that's a good deer, and it looks like more than likely it's a buck. And over here is another front shoulder. So we're going to look through this trail and just follow this trail up and just see if we can get lucky enough that we can see more deer right here. There's part of the hide. Yeah, there's the front. Well, you can also see well, this is all the back end of him. You can see the hip and the spine. So let's just crawl through here and see if we can find a nice deadhead. We've got a creek right here for water, and deer, as a rule, when they're wounded, a lot of times they'll go to a water source. Look at all this hair right here, guys. So he's struggled up this embankment, probably with coyotes on him. There's a bunch more hair. Look at all this hair. There's a buck. There we go. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is a nice buck. Wow. That old boy there did not make it. That's a big abnormal buck. I've got lots of pictures of over the years. We call him Jack Dupp. That's J-A-C-K and then Dupp, D-U-P-P. And he's all jacked up. Wow. Well, Jack Dupp didn't make it through the season, guys. Well, that's just another benefit from being out shed hunting. You can find some deadheads. Now, the proper thing to do here is to contact the conservation and get a written tag on him in order to move this deer. So I happen to have the Bourbon County Conservation's phone number. I'm going to send him a picture of this deadhead, try to give him a call and get his permission to move this deer from this location. And if I get his permission, then I'm going to go ahead and take it. But we're going to continue to shed hunt. This is a really good find right here. Okay, guys, this is another good tactic to use for shed hunting, and it's a simple way, and you could call it the lazy man's way of shed hunting, but it's a very efficient way, and it's a way to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. And that's to get on your four-wheeler and then get out on a piece of property like this, which this is a big open field of brome, and it's got a lot of red clover on it. What you've got is you've got the Marmaton River that wraps all the way around this property here, and you've got timber all the way around where the deer can bed, and then they can come out on this food source and feed at night, and then they don't have to go very far to get back into their bedding area. So we've been zigzagging this field and was coming along, and we did find a shed. And granted, it ain't a giant shed, but it is a shed. So it's come off of a 1.5-year-old buck, just a really nice young buck's shed. And while we're standing here talking this and admiring what a great shed we just found, my grandson Nathan said, "Grandpa, there's one over here, and it's a great big one." And so we've walked over there. We'll go over there here again in a second. And this shed is the left side to a buck that I call Rocky. He's only 4.5. And this is the weak side. And when you see the weak side on him, you're going to die. He's a dandy buck. Got a lot of characteristics, character to him. And he's got a lot of abnormals down low. Just a huge base on him. He's probably got 6.5 or 7-inch base on him. So here we are, heading to that other shed that Nathan has found. And as you can see, it's a dandy. See, he's got some cool character down low. He's got some abnormals. That is a dandy shed. Again, you know, shed hunting is a blast. It gives you an idea of what deer made it through the season. And it's stuff you can do with your children or your grandchildren and just have a great time. This is Nathan's first shed he's ever found. And it's going to be tough to beat that. Nathan and I have only gone probably, I don't know, maybe 100 yards. You can see our trail right here as we're coming back through on the four-wheeler. and we found another shed. So I'm going to walk over here to it. Looks like a 5-point side, right side, off of a 2.5-year-old buck, which, you know, ever shed to us is like Christmas. I mean, this is like opening up a Christmas present. This is a pair of socks. Nathan got a gun a while ago. So that's just part of it. It's a blast to shed hunt. Well, this is the results from our shed hunt here on January the 10th. We know it's early, but Benz, we had this buck actually on pictures on December the 16th with this side missing. We decided we was going to go ahead and do a little shed hunting. All we did was shed hunted out in the open fields, the trail that goes to the corn feeder, and that was about it. But this was our results.